Yo, 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 what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, all that other good stuff. I turned my hat backwards on this one. Okay, check it out. This is where we at with this Razor's Edge bloodline thing. Everybody is trying to figure out how you breed the Razor's Edge blood, how you do this with it. Is it a bloodline? I've done longer videos on this, but I will sum it up by saying this. First and foremost, Razor's Edge is, in my opinion, not a actual bloodline. And the reason why I say this about Razor's Edge as a bloodline is this. In order to have a bloodline, you have to have a consistent look, a consistent plan, and generations built by the same kennel. Razor's Edge blood is definitely alive and well, and it comes from many kennels. You have the Excalibur strands, you have the Rock and Ruby strands, you have the D-Line strands, you have the True Tank strands, the Marco Suarez strands, it's a lot, Remy line. But the one thing that holds consistent is there is a certain look that the Edge dogs have, but they have not been very, very well developed. And one of the things is every time you get into these lines, what we tend to find out is that someone is heavily line bred one variation or one strand of a certain blood from the Razor's Edge family. Whereas the best combinations that I've seen over the past 20 plus years have come when you take in different strands of Edge blood and bred them to each other, not just line bred within your own yard. And it's something that we've sort of had to do over the years because no one has been consistent in the American bully game, or we haven't worked together consistently in the American bully world to actually be able to do a lot of breedings that should have happened. So when you have Marco Suarez's yard, he's bred a lot of line bred, Paco stuff. When you go to Oscar Gomez, Blue Pride, it's a lot of line bred Excalibur stuff. Over on my camp, it's a lot of line bred Halley, gargoyle blood, So as we go forward, some of the things that we need to look into is, in order to make these looks last and even make these looks better, I've seen good results when you took Remy to Paco. I've seen good results when you've taken my blood, which is part Paco, part Halley, and you've taken that to some Remy dogs, Excalibur dogs, different branches of the Edge family. If we are ever going to make Razor's Edge a true bloodline, I think it has to start with a lot of people working together to break these bloods down. And what I mean by break the bloods down is what I alluded to earlier, is that a lot of the Edge strands right now are just way too tight. Remy went heavy Remy, just like Paco went heavy Paco. And now, I'm starting to notice more and more that the D-Line strands are used very, very heavily, with themselves. And if we start using some of these bloods to bounce off of each other, there won't be a loss of size, there won't be a loss of overall conformation, and most importantly, we can keep the look. I think it takes many generations to work towards making an actual bloodline. And yes, Razor's Edge blood is alive and well, but stuttering, a great effort, needs to be made by everybody to keep this look and to work together to make this look timeless. What you tend to get right now is you get part terrier, part bully. Some of the Edge dogs come out very terrierish, and some of the Edge dogs come out with the cheeky, big, big heads, and have the look. Well, over a stretch of time, we will be able to make the dogs better with this, but we have to work together. Too many of these lines are getting too tight. Remy lost a lot by getting tight. In my opinion, the Suarez blood got smaller and smaller by getting too tight. I think Oscar and Pratt's probably had the best representation of what the blood is supposed to be at this point in time. And their dogs still have the size, and I think that's a trademark of the actual Edge blood. The Edge blood was never a pocket blood. Roe was known for being the smallest of the Edge dogs, and Roe would be a standard today. So I think the focal point has to go back to being what it used to be. Big dogs, big physical dogs, big cheeky dogs, and dogs that had drive and athleticism. We've switched so far over to this, I don't know what you want to call it, trend of making short, fat, unathletic dogs. Even though that some of them have edge blood, they're not true edge dogs, in my opinion. You know, an edge dog is supposed to have some muscles, supposed to have some drive, supposed to be able to get after it, and most importantly, you know, the topping on all of that good thing is that it's had that beautiful head with the cheeks and the almond shaped eyes, and you know, a nice muzzle, but not a long snipey muzzle, broad but still, you know, functional, that the dog can breathe and be athletic with that type of muzzle. If you're breeding edge blood, I guess to sort of wrap this whole thing up is, do not allow yourself to be stuck with just one strand. I'm telling you, you will see great results by bouncing the different strands of edge blood off of each other. These bloods were meant to go together, and because of however things went, a lot of it just got stuck in certain places and people never really worked together to make it happen. I would have loved to see Marco do more stuff with Remy line, you know. I would have loved to see, you know, myself do something with Hef, you know, or do something more with Remy line. You know, I would love to see Oscar do more stuff with Remy line, with, you know, with the Excalibur blood that he has. And I think in the future, hopefully this happens, because these bloods are still out here, and I promise you will see a whole different, you know, aspect to the Razor's Edge family. These dogs will be big, they will be physical, they will be functional, but I think they will be a lot overall healthier dogs, because you're breaking down, you know, the genetics. It's not so tight. A lot of the health issues, a lot of the allergies and different things that we're seeing in some of these dogs come from these dogs basically just being inbred. And, you know, with the total lack of honesty on some of the pedigrees, even when we try to call ourselves line breeding, we're actually you know, inbreeding, because certain dogs are not who they say they are, you know. And that's a whole nother avenue there that we would have to discuss. But as far as going into edge, yes, I do believe that edge blood is still alive, and I do believe that we can still make some great dogs out of edge blood. I believe that we are very, very much so in better shape than the Gotti line crew, who pretty much has been effective in erasing most of the Gotti line history by mixing certain weird dogs into their blood. And some people will be mad about that statement, but it's true. You know, when you look for Gotti blood, now I've looked because I'm a Gotti fan still, and I can't find the old school Gotti big, you know, 100-pound dogs, real ripped up, muscular, athletic built, you know, no breathing issues, none of that. You can't find that anymore, but I can find a lot of edge dogs that resemble what they're supposed to be. So hopefully we can work together and bring some of these bloods together and make some super dogs or something. But until next time, I babbled on long enough. I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.